Hello, hello, hello. Man, I'm just hyped today. I'm always
Yes,
hyped up.
yes, yes,
I'm
yes,
extra
yes.
hyped today. Maybe because I got my eyebrows done. The sister was like, I told Angela, ma'am, you ain't gonna have, I can't become up alive with no hairy eyebrows now. You gotta hook a sister up. All
And
right.
they look fabulous.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. I try. Appreciate you. I appreciate you. So hey everybody. Just wait for some people to come on. Then we'll get started. So just give a few minutes. Um, I'm so excited to have you, Emily. Like
I
this is like the first episode in 2021. I'm just so excited. Oh my goodness. This is such gonna be a wonderful night for us to do this. So people just come on in. I'll get started. People can watch the replay, whatever it is. So, anyway, I want to introduce myself. Oh, well, first of all, I want to say Happy New Year. I don't know if it's an African thing, but anytime we don't see someone for a long time, we always say Happy New Year. It could be July. Happy New Year. We always do that. So, I don't know if it's an African thing or not. But Happy New Year. Happy New Year.
thank you.
How are
Happy New
you?
Year to you. I am excited to be your first guest of the year. Thank you so much for
Yes, I
inviting me.
appreciate you. Oh,
Yes.
you're welcome. I thank you. I honor you. I'm honored that you're here, and I love that board, ma'am.
Oh, thank you.
Yes,
This is my makeshift studio right here on the other side of the office. My office is over there. This is the studio. So
ma'am.
my
I get
vision
it. I'm in the
boards are in
office
the
right now
background.
too. My studio's in the basement. I got my makeshift studio too, but I like the vision board. I really like it. It's out there. Plugging them goals. I'm a goal getter, goal digger. So I love it. I love it.
Absolutely. This
I
is
love
me
it.
making the vision plain, okay?
Listen, I know that's right. Write the vision, make a plan. I know that's right. Absolutely. Absolutely. So, my name is Grace. Welcome, welcome, welcome to the Balanced Lifestyle series. As Emily and I were talking, she's my first guest for the year. I had started this series last year. So, this is the first episode of 2021. And this show is very, very important to me. As I was telling Emily behind the scenes, really, I stand on John 10:10, the scripture. The part of, he says the thief comes to steal, kill, and destroy, but I came to give you a life and a life more abundantly. And life more abundantly is not just in the finances, although that's what we're going to be talking about tonight, but life abundantly, it trickles down to all areas of your life. God wants us to have a life abundantly spiritually. He wants us to have a life abundantly in our career, in our businesses, our ministries, and our families, our relationships, even our physical and emotional health. He wants us to live a life more abundantly. So that I really stand strong on that thing. So that's why I named it Balanced Lifestyle Series, because it's important that we have a balanced lifestyle all around. So that's why I
Yeah.
named it that series. As I said, my name is Grace. I am a transformational coach. I teach high performing women how to live a balanced lifestyle so they can be able to gain a life of peace, prestige, purpose, and prosperity. Also, by trade, I am a board certified psychiatric mental health nurse practitioner. So I treat people for mental illness, substance abuse as well, and also do counseling. So that's me in a nutshell. This ain't about me tonight, okay, y'all? I got my guest here. Before I let her introduce herself and then we get started on what we're going to talk about tonight, Emily and I kind of like, listen, Emily is wonderful. All right. I am not trying to gas her up. I'm being for real. Emily is wonderful inside and out. You see how beautiful she is, right? You see, she got that great vision board. But I met Emily, it'd be almost 2 years, right, Emily? It'd be almost
Almost
2 years,
2 years
right?
ago.
Almost 2 years ago. We actually met at a speaking and coaching retreat back in Atlanta 2 years ago. It was a 4-day retreat. We had our coaches there, Marshawn and Jack Daniels. Love them.
Love them.
I got Yes, I love them. So we went to the conference, the business conference for like 4 days, and I got to meet different women. We all connected, and that's how Emily and I met. And I really truly believe in kingdom connections. So that's how me and Emily met, and Emily's here now, almost 2 years later, on my show. So that's amazing. So Emily, go ahead and introduce yourself, and then we get started.
Yeah, yeah. I again just want to say you guys know how amazing and how beautiful Grace is as
Oh,
well. as she mentioned, we met 2 years ago, and I, she mentioned we stay connected. So we have a group, and I had just expressed the gratitude. I can't even express it enough, the gratitude that I have for this group of women that, we met 2 years ago. And now to see us all kind of shining and stepping into our own and serving the world with our gifts, it makes me feel so good to be able to partner with Grace and do this thing together. So, again, I'm so grateful that you have just said, hey, let's do this together. And so, thank you so much for that. But, guys, I am Emily Macklin. I am a money coach, and I help six-figure earners stop living paycheck to paycheck.
Mm.
Bottom line,
Yeah.
I help six-figure earners stop living paycheck to paycheck. I do that by helping them create a plan for their money that makes them excited, not
Mhm.
nervous and anxious and
Mhm.
frustrated like sometimes money makes us feel. I do
Mhm.
that by helping them create a plan that works. And when I say plan, I mean budget. I know the B word is a bad word to some people, but a budget is a good thing. It's a good thing.
Yes.
And so I hope to change your mind about a budget. It's simply a plan for how you spend, save, and give. It helps you stay organized. It helps you to reach your financial goals. So
Yes.
that is one thing that I help people do. I also help men or help women to align their money and their resources to the vision that God has placed in their hearts.
Mm.
I know most money coaches solely focus on the spreadsheet and on the budget, but
Mhm.
I spend an exorbitant amount of time of really, really encouraging and inspire you to believe what God has told you you can have, that abundance that
Yeah.
Grace talks about,
Mhm.
that
Mhm.
abundance that God has told you you can have. And
Mhm.
I don't really care how much you make, because you can do things with the money that you do have. So that's what we
Yeah.
focus on: maximizing your current income, creating a plan that works, boosting your confidence and your competence in money matters. But most of all, inspiring you to believe that vision that He's giving you for your life and using
Yeah.
your money as a tool to make it come to reality.
Yes. Where is the offering plate, ma'am? You already dropping bars. I know that's right. All right. Well, I gotta shout out some ladies here. Hey, Marcia. Hey, Latrice. Hey, y'all. Thank y'all for joining in. I appreciate y'all. So y'all done heard Emily. Emily, money coach. Okay, put some respect on that. Money coach. I like it. I love it. I love it. I love it. So I kind of want to ask you, Emily, what kind of brought you to do this in the first place? Like, what made you like, okay, you know what? This is what I really want to do. Like, just give us like a snippet of how you even got to this point.
Okay, let me try to give you like the 60-second version of this. So how you when you really step into what it is that you want to do or what it is that you love to do, you realize that when you look back over life, there's been some indications of that. There was a
Yeah.
time or something that said, you know what, this is the path that you'll eventually end up on. Well, I have always loved money. I've always loved numbers. I wanted to be a teacher, which I feel like I am stepping into that role as a teacher. Now,
Mhm.
I wanted to be a teacher all the way up until 11th grade. And then I took an accounting
Mm.
class and an economics class, and my whole vision for my life changed. I fell in love with balancing a checkbook. I am a money nerd,
Okay.
so I'm gonna go ahead and own that. But it was in that moment where my path to where I am was really starting to be defined. I actually have an accounting degree from Tennessee State University. I knew the day that I stepped on campus that was what I wanted to major in. And I've worked 20 years in corporate finance, and the first decade of that was in accounting. I'm no longer in accounting, and I don't want to be. But my whole entire career, I'm corporately, professionally trained in finance. But 20 years in finance, I kind of went through a midlife crisis. Like, I don't think I want to do this anymore. But what made me step into the personal finance space is really overcoming my own
Yeah.
struggles that I created for myself, but
Yeah.
being able to overcome my own struggles. I was 22 years old when I bought my first real estate property. I got into real estate, really wanting to build this real estate empire. And this was in 2002. 2002. Well, that was just a few years before the 2008 recession hit. Well,
Yeah.
by the
Yeah.
time the 2008 recession had hit, I had acquired over $1.5 million of real estate. I was 28 years old. $1.5 million of real estate. And not only did the recession wreck the whole economy, it wrecked my own personal economy. So
Mm-hmm.
while I had never struggled with earning and, feeling like, I have enough to survive, that whole economic recession threw me into a financial tailspin that I didn't ever think I was going to get out of.
Yeah.
I mean, I dealt with foreclosure. I dealt with not having enough to be able to, cover my own household because I was trying to keep all these rental properties afloat. So I struggled and I overcame those struggles. And now when I think about that, it is really what kind of propelled me into the way I was able to get myself back on track. I really, really want everybody to experience that empowerment in their own personal financial situation. One of the things, there's three things whenever you interact with me on my page, whether it's in a Facebook Live, whether it's in an Instagram post, I want individuals to know, first of all, that they are not alone in their struggles. And I don't care what your income level is, but I specifically talk to income levels of six figures because everybody thinks once you hit six figures, you got it made. We
Ma'am.
struggle too. So, I want you to feel like you are not alone. Secondly, I want you to know that you can overcome, that you can do this. You can overcome and you can do this. And that is the main reason why I do what I do, because I want people to understand they can overcome their financial struggles, no matter how bad it is, no matter
Yeah.
how bad the mistake was. There is nothing too big or too bad to fix when it comes to your finances.
That's so good. Yeah, I wanted you to kind of give a little background because so people can be able to connect with what you're saying, right? And I agree. Once you hit six figures, it's like it don't feel like anything.
I mean,
Yes, I understand that. I understand that very well. But I'm glad that you was able to express that and be able to share your experiences. I really believe that our experiences gives us wisdom, right? And
yeah,
also it
exactly.
does prepare us into our purpose, right? Because you're able to connect with people and understand what their problem is and be able to address it because you went through it too, right? And now you
Yeah.
have the system and the solution that can be able to help people. So that's so good. So, our main topic today is financial stewardship. As you have said, getting that bag ain't hard if you can, but I think the issue is how to actually continue to maintain that, because a
Yep.
lot of times we always pray to God to enlarge our territory, give enlarge our capacity, Lord. You know what I mean? Give us what, that abundance that we're looking for, that overflow that we're looking for. However, okay, when we get it, what do we do with it? How do
Mhm.
we steward over this? What does that actually mean? And I just want you to touch base on that because a lot of times we see, even though when people they win the lottery, right? And a year later they ain't got no money, they broke
Mhm.
because they ain't steward well, right? So I want you to touch on what exactly is financial stewardship. What is that?
Yeah. So I want to take one step back and first talk about stewardship. What is stewardship? And I know most of the time, most of us think, we instantly think money when you say the word stewardship. But in reality, stewardship refers to all of the resources that we have been entrusted with: our time, our talents, our money, our relationships,
Yeah.
our children. We are stewards over all of these things in our lives, right? And so when you think about what is stewardship, it is the careful and responsible management of something that is entrusted to your care. And when it's entrusted to your care, that also implies that you don't own it. You
That's
are not
right.
the owner,
Mm-hmm.
right? So you must think, about ownership and who owns it. And think about whenever, say, you borrow a shirt or you borrow some pants or something from your sister or your brother, or you borrow something from somebody, you want to return it in a good condition, right? You want to return it in the same condition or better condition to what you borrowed it from. So that's the thing about stewardship and thinking about it from God's perspective, that He owns it all. And we are merely managers,
Mm-hmm.
managers that He's entrusted resources in this earth, money being one of them, which is where financial stewardship comes in. The money that He's entrusted to us to be good stewards over, to use for His glory and for the betterment of His kingdom. That is what our financial stewardship is about.
Good. That's so good. I like how you said that. We're just managers. We just managers. He owns everything. Everything comes from him. So that's good that you touch base on that. I actually read something today. I forgot where I read it from. And it said, don't allow money to be, money should be your servant, not your master. So that, that's where that stewardship, comes in. If we letting money be our master us, then we're not going to be good stewards of it, right?
Right.
So that's amazing. I saw that today and I was like, oh my God, we're going to be talking about that today. So that's, God would just send you messages, right? So that's good that you said about when we have that concept in our mind that we are the ones that are managing it versus owning it, then we'll be a little bit more cognizant of what we're doing with our money. So
Absolutely.
if we're talking about being stewardship, then what are the qualities of a good steward? What does that mean? How do people really know if they're a good steward or not? What does that mean?
So when I think about being a good steward, I think about someone who is accountable, someone who is responsible. There are also three skills that I think a good manager has. So number one, a good skill or a good manager manages resources with care, taking care of it just like it is yours, being careful, being making careful considerations of how you are using that resource that you have been assigned to take care of. The
Mhm.
number two thing or skill that a good manager has is they maximize the available resources. And when you maximize something, it means to make as large or as great as possible. It means to make the best use of it, make it better than it was. So when you receive money, are you making it better than it was? Are you using it to create more value in the world? Are you using it to take care of your family in a better way or to take care of the community in a better way? Are you maximizing the resources that are at your disposal? And the third thing I think that, or third skill of a good uh, steward, is they multiply the resources into more. You make it more than what it was. When
Yeah.
you get it, do you give it back as more? Or do when you get it, it is diminished and gone and never to be seen again?
Mm.
When you think about your money, what does it? What happens with your money? What are your normal experiences and behavior with money? Are you managing well? Are you maximizing? Are you multiplying? That
That's
is a good
good.
litmus test to see where you are with how you are with your money. What are your normal experiences with money? Is it
Mhm.
gone as soon as you get it? Do you multiply it and it comes back as more?
Mm.
What
That's
are
so
your
good.
experiences? What kind of manager are you? We have to take time to reflect and really,
Mhm.
really think about it. We really got to be honest about money, about our money. One of the first two tenets in one of my in my framework is you got to talk about money first of all, and then you got to be
Mhm.
honest about money. So if you
Mhm.
are a hot mess when it comes to money, then you got to say that. You got to own that. I'm a hot mess and I need to be better. So we got to be open and honest and not afraid to talk about money, not afraid to understand what it means to be a good manager, and not leaning on these excuses of my mama didn't teach me,
Mm.
nobody taught me, I
Mm,
ain't never seen nobody be like, okay, that's fine. But it's incumbent on you to learn how to be a better manager.
that's so good. What you had said about multiplying, that's a biblical principle.
It's
When you
very
said that, what came to my head was that parable of the talents and how the one that got the one went and buried it. Everybody else multiplied theirs, but he went and buried it because he just saw, I just only have one. You know what I'm saying? He didn't see the value in what God had given him. So that's what came to my mind when you said about the multiplication thing. That's really good. And also about the family thing, we have to start taking accountability of our choices and take responsibility by taking actions we can change, so we can change those behaviors. Because if we so focus on what mom and daddy should have could have done, we would never move past. And that's anything in life, not just with money. You know what I mean? But we do have to talk about it and be open about it, because there are some people who may not have seen their parents who may have grew up in poverty, so they had that poverty mindset, right? They never
right.
think they can get above what their parents did, or they may not see or they may have seen their parents. There's people who parents are they grew up in a wealthy family, but just because you grew up in a wealthy family doesn't mean that you're a good steward of your money neither. You know what I mean? So those are different mindsets. Hey, Karen, there's different mindsets that we have to break. So a lot of this stuff, when it comes to dealing with money issues, it's a mindset thing. I think once you get through the mindset, then you can start having real conversations about money. But it's really a mindset. You know what I mean? So that's good that you touch base on the family thing, because that's real. That's real. Um, and I think you said about the actions of a good steward. You mentioned some things about the actions. So kind of talk a little bit more about that. What are practical actions of someone who's may not be a good steward of their money? What can they do now to kind of go towards that step of being a good steward of their finances?
Yeah. So, and if you're not a good steward,
Oh,
you know
listen.
when you are not taking care of the resources. And I do want to highlight this. You mentioned the passage in Matthew 25, verse 14 through 30, where it tells the story of the three stewards.
Hmm.
And here's the thing, the key to getting more money or to getting more resources, I don't want to just make it money because that, about the story, but the key to getting more resources, Matthew 25 tells us, is being an effective manager
Yeah.
of resource that you have. Because what happened when the stewards um, multiplied the money and took good care of the money? Three things happened when those stewards, when the master returned and saw that those stewards were good, that they took care of the money. First of all, they got positive feedback. The master told them, well done, good and faithful servant.
Hmm.
So you want to get your money, if you are being a good steward, you're going to get that positive feedback. The second thing is he put them in charge of many things. He said, you have been faithful. You have been good. You have been a good manager over this little bit. So I'm going to make you the master of a much, much more. So
Yeah.
they got in charge of more. And we missed that key right there. We missed that principle of God. You are going to get put in charge of more when you manage well what you have. Many of
Hmm.
us miss that.
Yeah.
And then the third thing, it says they entered into the master's joy. Who doesn't
Mhm.
like to please their parents or like to
Mhm.
enter into the joy of those who they love, right?
Right,
So those
right.
three things are a result of us being a good manager. It's not for naught for us to be out
Mhm.
here being a good manager. There are good things that come from being a good manager. And so, what are some of those good things when it comes to your money? Those things that you can do. First of all, you can manage or knowing your numbers, like knowing exactly what your income is and knowing
Mhm.
exactly what your expenses are. I bet I could ask anyone who's watching. No, I'm not going to say that because your audience they live a balanced lifestyle. So they are on top of their finances.
They
So
they still may need no
I know
you
they
say
know. So I ain't
we
really talking
real
to
we
them.
real up in here, okay? We don't say what you got to say. You
I
say what
know that they already know, but just for those who are not in the choir tonight, that are not on here, that do not know, I bet I could ask most people, what are your expenses? How much does it cost to be you every single month? You got to know that information.
mm-hmm.
And most of us don't. We don't keep track of how much we are spending on food or spending on eating out. And listen, I am not one of those Dave Ramsey type of coaches that say you got to cut all your spending, you got to cut everything. I am a proponent of just being planning ahead,
Mm-hmm.
planning how much you're going to spend. I eat out because I love to eat out. I value convenience. So I build that into my budget. I know
Yeah,
exactly how much I'm going to spend on those things. I don't get to the end of the month and say, well, what happened to my money? How much did I spend? So just being more aware of what your expenditures are for the month.
that's
And
good.
and then not only that, if you have debt,
Mm-hmm.
not continuing to increase that debt, coming up with the plan to eliminate your debt. I just made a post today and it says saving protects your financial future. It buys your future financial security. Debt steals it. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, what? Let's stop assaulting our financial futures by running up debt. Debt handcuffs our future earnings. It takes away from us. It takes away from our potential to build wealth. So if
Mm-hmm.
you have debt, commit to eliminating that debt. Commit to eliminating that debt that is taking your future earnings. Get rid of it. Stop building or stop running up credit cards or getting unnecessary loans. Those are things that you can go do now. First of all, getting clear about where you are, facing your hot mess if you are a hot mess. And I'm there is nothing wrong with it because you can always change it.
You
But
sure
then
can.
yes, yes. And so, there are really three principles when I think about money and when I think about what I teach. Number one is really abiding by underlying biblical principles. And we've talked about many of them already. Understanding, thinking like a manager. God owns it all. Bottom line. Second is effective management is the key to more. So you got to be a good manager to get more, to get access to more. The third is you must give to receive. So
Mm-hmm.
always being a giver. The third is being transformed by the renewing of your mind. And that's where that mindset piece
Mindset. I
comes.
love that scripture.
Yes, that is when I think about my coaching, that is like my tagline for it. Like
Mm-hmm.
coaching, money coaching is you being transformed by the renewal of your mind. And then the fourth is your faith and your works are required. So you got to go do
Mm-hmm.
something. You got to take action with whatever you are learning, whatever information that you are acquiring. You got to go apply it. You got to go do something. The other principle, like the high level principle that I teach also is just so abiding by underlying biblical principles. The second is commit to understanding and implementing practical money principles. So, what are money principles? Living below your means. If you make $100,000 a year, don't go spend $105,000 a year. If you make 50,000, don't go spend $51,000 a year. The second, avoiding debt. Again, as I mentioned, debt handcuffs your future earnings. And then the third is save and invest the rest. That is where you multiply your money, right? And then the third high level principle is really committing to practical strategies, committing to sorry about that, committing striving to perfect the strategies of budgeting, of saving, of investing, of tracking your spending, of setting goals, casting the vision. I love that phrase, casting the vision. And as I mentioned, I
Mm-hmm.
spend a lot of time on that in my money coaching, because without vision, you won't have the self-discipline required to bring it to pass.
That's right.
So yeah,
Hmm.
those are, I know that was
That's
probably
good.
a mouthful. Hope you guys are taking some notes there. But
Listen, mm, they better, if they want the replay, they better sign up. Because
y'all better sign
you
up.
was dropping some
I know.
gems, ma'am. That was good. That's so good. I have a quick question to ask you about that though. About the well, honestly, I did my budget for the whole year, which is
Okay.
shocking. God
That's
was
exactly
like,
what
you
I
better go
teach
get
my
your budget
clients.
done.
Do it for
Huh?
the whole year. Make adjustments
Yeah, I
again.
did it for the whole year.
Yep.
So I did do that, and for me, you and I had talked about that. About I was talking about my student loans. I'm like, I should just went to medical school because this is crazy. And my goal is trying to pay those off, and I'm trying to pay off my credit cards, and I've done pretty well. God is good because even though we were in COVID, I paid quite a few. I paid a lot out, all down, right? So
Good.
I'm thank God for that. But when it comes to debt and savings, I
Mhm.
always hear different things. Like I hear people say, do the what's it called, like the snowball effect? Get rid of the debt, and or but then there's people's like, if you get the money, put the money in your emergency fund. So do you? What do you? I don't know. What do you normally tell your clients? If you can give us a tip, is it to, if you get money, just go ahead and pay off the debt, start paying that off, or is there a percentage you need to put in your savings and the rest put on your debt? Like, how does that work?
See, the first
That
thing
makes sense what I'm asking.
that I always tell my clients, what are you going to be most committed to? And this is where the goal setting comes in. You got to have
Mm.
a vision. You got to have a goal and let your goals guide you. So I will tell you, for example, back in 2019, my husband had a gap in his employment. So he left a job, and there was 4 months where he wasn't employed until he got his next job. We had to deplete our emergency savings. And thank
Mhm.
God we didn't miss a beat. We didn't miss a payment. We didn't go hungry. None of that. So in 2020, my whole goal, and I will be honest, I still have some credit cards that I need to pay off too. Okay, y'all. So my goals shifted in 2020 where I was going hard on my debt, on my debt, on my debt. Life happened. We had to reassess. We had to take care of our four walls. So in 2020, when he was back gainfully employed, where before I was paying off debt, I shifted to reinvesting in my emergency fund. And so
Mhm.
that was my goal for 2020. I needed to build up my cash reserve. And so
Yeah.
that's where I started, or that's what I worked on in 2020. Even though I had debt, I decided at that moment this was what was most important to me. So I committed to building that back up. So when you sit down, you think about where you are financially, what all you have going on, what are you most committed to doing? Because if I tell you to go and do this, you're not going to do that
Right.
wholeheartedly and being committed to it.
Mhm. Mhm.
You got to think about, well, what is it you have going on right now? What do you most want to do? Those student loans are what's most important to you right now. So I
Mhm.
would say, first of all, I would say if you don't have any money saved at all, try to get at least 1 month equal to your take home pay saved.
Yeah.
I know people say expenses, but I like to say take home pay. So if you are paid twice a month, $2,500 a paycheck, and this is after tax, try to get $5,000 saved in your savings account. And then if you have a goal to pay off a credit card, I would go hard on that credit card.
Mhm.
And I would lay out a plan so you know exactly when you can pay that card off. And as you mentioned, there are the snowball effect, or the snowball method is one of the most popular ways to pay off your debt. There are others. And here's the thing, you can switch at any time. You can switch methods, you can switch goals, or you can switch whatever it is that you're doing. And don't feel like you have to be locked in to just only paying off debt or just only, saving money. And that's the thing, working with a coach, you can put a plan
Mhm.
together that makes you feel comfortable with paying off debt maybe half the year, or paying off your credit, your saving half the year. It is an individual thing. I think a lot of the issue with the gurus is every guru has something different that they tell you,
Yeah.
and people get so confused and don't do
Mhm.
anything. And as a coach, I like to say, let's just individualize it. That's the thing about personal finance. It's personal.
Right.
And you approach finance to be the most successful, you got to have a personal approach to it.
Mhm.
Whatever
Mhm.
you are most committed to doing, if that is getting money in your savings account, do that. If that is getting a credit card paid off, do that. Create
Yeah.
a plan for both and stick to it.
That's what it boils down to. You just got to have a plan and the commitment. I say that
Right.
even in my coaching, because that trickles down to any place in your life. And I feel like if you're not disciplined in one area, it's going to show up in other places too. The word says an unstable man is unstable in all his ways, not
Yeah.
some, not part, all. Okay.
Yeah.
So that what you said makes a lot of sense. Whatever is personal to you, just make sure that you have a plan
Yep.
and you have consistency and commitment to it. You know what I mean? A goal without a plan does not become reality. Point blank, period. No matter how you slice it. So that was so good that man, Emily, just thank you, girl. You are just like thebomb.com. I know people don't say that anymore, but that's okay. I'm just telling my
Listen, I
age.
should
So I'm
say
gonna
it.
say it anyway. Thebomb.com. You just dropping these bombs, girl. Just dropping them. I love it. I love it. Love it. So we had discussed about, majority of the women that we see, a lot of them are moms, right?
Mhm.
So I wanted to ask you, even for our children, my son is about to be 13, and he gets his money or whatever, whether it's from me or his father or whatever. So how do we help our kids be good stewards without us like nagging them? Because these kids these days, they just want to buy V-Bucks and Roblox. I'm like, what's going on here? You don't use your money to buy this, right? So how do we get them in a place where they could start being good stewards, not in the place where as soon as they get money they want to spend it or whatever? How do we start getting them to that mindset to help them so they won't, follow some of the bad habits we may have had growing up? So how do we do that for our kids? What's your
Yeah.
suggestions?
So you just said a mouthful right there. They're gonna follow you, just
Mm,
like you followed your parents in their bad habits. So the first thing we as parents can do is be good stewards, is model good behavior with our,
mm-hmm,
so that they
mm-hmm.
know how to be with their money. We got
That's good.
that's job number one, is on us to be good, show and model good behavior, to
Mm-hmm.
speak positively about money. If
Yeah.
your kids only hear you talking about how broke you are, or how money
Mm-hmm.
doesn't grow on trees, or how they need to have McDonald's money, like we heard that,
Woo, I remember that growing up. You got
you
McDonald's
know,
money?
if
Oh,
they
okay. Mm-hmm.
if they only hear those things, you are shaping their money mindset with every word that comes out of your mouth, with every
That's right.
action that you show with the money that you have. So that is job number one, is being better with money. So they see you being
Yeah,
better with money. Job
that's
number
good.
two is talking to kids about money. I talk to my kids all the time. My oldest is 8 years old, and she knows that she's going to get an inheritance from her parents. One day she said to me, "Mom, I don't mean to be what did she say? I don't mean to sound bad, but how much money am I going to get when you pass away?" I'm like, you
Oh,
know, I
goodness.
appreciate you being concerned about that, but I will let you know a little bit later. You don't need to be concerned about that right now. But that I talk to them about what
Yeah.
it is and the things that I want to do for them. And
Mhm.
the first thing is teaching them. And my kids are, and they're young. My kids are 8. They are 8, 6, and 3. And so we have started talking to them about giving, saving, and spending.
Mhm.
So we have exercises with them. We have 3 jars. So anytime they get money, they have a jar where they can put, what they're going to give, what they're going to save, and what they're going to spend. And we try to make the connection that you have a choice with the money that you get. You can either
Yeah.
spend it all, you can save it all, or you can give it all. But you want to have a balance. And so we try to let them know that these are the 3 things that you can do with money. And if you don't have a balance, you will get yourself into financial trouble, not
Yeah.
balancing what between spending and saving and giving. And so we try to talk to them about that. We also try to make the connection that they are going to be contributors into the world,
Mhm.
giving of their talents, of their time. And there is a connection of how much, of money coming back to them as is related to the value that they provide in the world. So that lesson is, something we talk about. It's a little bit above my little ones' heads, but my oldest, she gets it. She
Mhm.
understands that there are things that she can do in the world to earn
Mhm.
money, to get money. And so we talk about she wants to be an author. So we talk about her writing a book. We don't necessarily talk about it being in a job, but we
Mhm.
talk about her writing this book and how to
Mhm.
write this book to share with the world. And one of the rewards of writing that book, of producing that value, is money. And
Yeah.
so really not only sharing with them that you got to trade your time for money,
Mhm.
but just creating value in the world is one
Yeah.
way that you earn money. I also think, for you guys with like preteens and kids that are a little bit older, allowing them, if they do get an allowance, allowing them to kind of feel what it is like to use money in the world, like allow them to
Mhm.
pay for things like their haircuts. Maybe they have to,
My son is paying for his tomorrow. See? I'm
yeah,
glad you said that.
let
He's
them
paying for his tomorrow.
realize
That's really good.
exactly what it is like to be in the real world. Things that you
Mhm.
want you have to pay for. Maybe they pay for
Mhm.
that toy that they want to have, that game that they
Mhm.
want to have. Those things, they need to experience how to handle money. They need to know that you don't get $20 and then go spend $20 right away. Like,
Right.
help them to understand that they need to plan it out. They need
Mhm.
to, have a logical plan for what they're going to do with that money. And
Yeah.
I don't think it's ever too early to have those conversations with them about it. They may not get it right away, but it's one of those things that you continue to reinforce along the way as they grow up.
That's good. That is really, really good. Yeah, so we have to change their mindset and how they see money and how they feel about it, how they feel about money, their relationship with money, because it will help them in the long run. So that is so good that you did that. So let me ask if anyone has any questions. And before we do, so I asked, let me find out if anyone has any questions, and
Okay.
then we'll be wrapping up just a little bit. And if there's anything extra you want to drop and share with us, um, anybody have any questions? If you have any questions, this is your opportunity to ask Emily, money coach. Okay, y'all better get some. Ask her now, okay? Cause she charged them premium prices, okay? We coach by the same person. We charge premium prices, so y'all better ask the questions now
Listen,
on the
just
free
know that
platform.
it is an investment. Okay.
Premium investments, okay? So y'all better ask your questions now. Oh my goodness. Yeah, well, at the end of the day, it's the value that you give. You
Yeah.
saving people, the time and effort to go. People be She said, do you give advice on investments? Latrice said, do you give advice on investments?
So, Latrice, I'm so glad you asked that. So, as a money coach, my primary focus is on providing basic personal finance education. So, when it comes to investments, I provide education, general education around investments. I am not credentialed to provide specific investment advice. For example, I can tell you what a stock is, or what a bond is, or what an index fund is. I cannot tell you go invest in that stock or go invest
Yeah.
in that particular bond or index fund. I will get in trouble doing that. But I can help you learn the basics of investing, and I can help you create the basic knowledge level to be able to prepare to work with a financial advisor. I can teach you so that you can build your confidence to go into a conversation about investing and know with confidence where your money is going, what's happening with your money when it comes to investing.
That's good. She got it. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Any more questions? All right. This was so good. Oh my God, Emily, thank you so much. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Oh my goodness, this was so good. I learned a
Absolutely.
lot.
I appreciate you inviting me. I really, really do. I enjoy doing these, and I hope that your audience has enjoyed being here and hopefully gotten something that they can go take some action with right away when it
Mhm.
comes.
Yes, that's how things they get come into fruition. Like you said, the faith without works. You can't have faith and don't put in your part. Faith without works is dead. So you have to be able to take what someone says and start putting it in real time. That's when you're going to get action. The most successful people are people that actually take things and put into action right away. You don't sit on it for 2 or 3 days or 2 years or 4 years. You're not going to be successful that way. You have to start putting things into action right away. Oh, you're welcome, Latrice. You're welcome.
Yeah,
Start putting things
let me
into
add this
action.
too. Where I talked about you have to cast a vision for where you want to be with your money, and I think that it is so important because if you only want to just pay bills with your money, you know what? Then
Mhm.
that's what you're going to work towards. That's all
Yep.
you are going to want to do, which I think is where many of us don't even think past the next pay period. And so
Mhm.
I really inspire you to go deeper, to dig deeper. What is it that you really want to do?
Mhm.
And your money is simply a tool to enable you to do those things. But
That's right.
what is the vision that God has placed in your heart? That thing that you don't want to say out loud to nobody because nobody around you ever thinks that big. They don't think they can have that abundance that is mentioned in John 10:10. So I really inspire you to tap into that thing and
Yeah.
cast the vision. Dan Sullivan has a quote that says, to make your presence better, you have to think think have a brighter future or a better future. It's something to the effect of that, where you have to see yourself having a brighter or bigger future in order to
Mhm.
create that in your present.
That's right.
So I want you to think about that. Think about what it is you really, really want. What is it you really, really, really want? Again, that
I
you
posted
never.
Latrice's comment real quick. She said, "This made me not want to order my food, save money and cook." Ma'am, them
That's
groceries
right.
be high.
You go ahead.
You better eat them groceries.
You better eat that food in your cupboard.
Listen, speaking of what Latrice said, I'm the same way. I'm like a foodie. And you just look at your bills. When I went to do my budget, when you look at your bank statement, that would tell you what you're doing with your money. I'm
Yeah.
like, these restaurants can't be having my money no more. This is crazy. I'm
Listen,
like, no, I'm eating my wealth. Oh no, 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 no,
I,
no.
I will be honest. The COVID, the pandemic messed me up because, like, as I mentioned, I value convenience. I don't want to be at home cooking all the time. I got 3 kids and a whole husband and a whole job and a whole business, so I don't want to be cooking. But this pandemic, y'all, we would just be trying to get out of the house, and our trip out of the house would be to go and like pick up takeout. So I get it. I
Man,
get it. We got
listen.
to put out of control with this eating out during the pandemic. But you know what you can do, Latrice? If you eat out 5 times a week or 4 times a week, cut that down to 2 times a week and put it in your
Mhm.
budget. Just plan for it. I want you to
Yeah.
go look at your last 3 months of your bank statements and see how much you've actually spent on food, on take eating out. That is a reality check that I don't think many of us are ready for. In our minds, we think, oh, we spent, $200, when in reality, we spent $2,000. And
Mm,
yet we always, talking about, I don't have it. I don't have it. No, you got it. You just didn't got it in the right priorities. You got it.
that's right.
So do that to just, again, get clear, know your numbers, know where you are.
It is a reality check. Because when I checked that thing, I was like, ooh. And I gotta keep on my lifestyle. Sister gotta get her hair done and nails done. I add that to my budget. Self
And that's all
care.
you do.
I add
That's
it to
all
my
you
budget. I'm
do.
like, this gotta get.
And here's the thing, you add it to your budget, but if there
Mhm.
are other things that you want to accomplish, maybe you want to save a little more, maybe you want to pay off debt, you
Yeah,
just have to shift those things out of your
yeah,
hair budget temporarily. I'm not saying anything has to be stopped forever, but it takes that self-discipline for that time frame
yes.
to accomplish that goal.
When
And
you
guess
see
what?
me with my hair wrap, I ain't got my hair done.
There is
I done
nothing
moved some
wrong
stuff
with
around.
it. There's nothing wrong with it. But if you
And
can't
I
pay your
do
rent
that.
good, but you get your hair done, that's where the problem comes in.
Yeah, I listen. When I have a goal, okay, I gotta get this done. I would shift that money right over to
There you
there. So I
go.
did learn that to plan ahead for
Plan
whatever
ahead.
I got going on. Trips and things I'm trying to do. Start saving now for it, and I have to just rearrange. So it's about that priorities, like you said.
Absolutely.
So that's yeah. I'm a work in progress. I've been working on it, but I'm proud of myself. I've got to this
Yeah, you should be. You should
point.
be. And no one should expect this to change overnight. But just know that your efforts, your small, small efforts add up to big results. So
Yeah.
don't stop. Keep going.
Keep going. Absolutely. All right, Miss Emily, how can people get in connection with you, social media, or even learn more about the products and services that you offer? And I'll put it in this chat
Yeah.
as well.
So first of all, I go live every single Tuesday morning at 6:30 Central Standard Time on Instagram. And I usually go on Facebook too. But you guys can keep up with me there, mostly on Instagram. I go live every single Tuesday talking about various topics. I am also going live every second Tuesday sharing financial concepts that increase the financial acumen of new and experienced and aspiring business owners. So if you have any business owners that are aspiring entrepreneurs in your audience that they say, if you ever said to yourself, I'm not a numbers person, you don't really get the numbers thing, we every Tuesday or every second Thursday of the month, myself and Ashley Brooks, who is an accountant and a bookkeeper, we cover various financial topics that help business owners better understand their numbers. So that's every second Tuesday. I
So
also
where's that on Instagram? What's your
also on
Instagram
Instagram
handle?
as well. So also on Instagram as well. So if you guys, I also offer a free 30-minute consultation. So if you have said to yourself, you know what, I make way too much money to be this broke. And you are tired of saying that to yourself. You're tired of being sick and tired, as we say. Get on my calendar. Let's talk to see if I can serve you in that way. I offer a VIP day, which is a 4-hour meeting where we just lay all the cards on the table and figure out what moves that you need to make with your money to start to improve. I also offer a 6-month coaching program. So that complimentary call is us talking about what your issues are and seeing if I can serve you or if one of those services would help you solve your problem. So again, it's just a conversation. I invite you all to get on my calendar. And I am also a mom. So if you hear the circus in the background, that is why.
It's all good.
So you can connect with me there. Also, you get on my email list. I don't spam you at all. You can join my list if you are interested in just staying connected and getting tips on how to be a better manager of your money. You can join my email list at bit.ly / I think legacy. So that's bit.ly
I
ly
think
/ I think legacy to get on my
did I
email.
do did
And
I
I
do
also
you
want
said
to invite,
hold on one second. You said
okay,
BIT what?
bit
Mm-hmm.
dot ly
Oh, dot,
/ I think legacy.
I think. I hope I did it right. All right. Let
Yep.
me see it. Let me post it on here.
I think legacy. Yep, that's it. Yeah,
Okay.
so you can join my email list there. And guys, I'm going to be, I haven't launched it yet. So you want to get on my email list so you are the first to know. I am going to be launching a challenge to help. I really want to help 100 families save $10,000 this year. So if you have problems saving and you could really use some guidance on how to free up the money to be able to save, to build your emergency fund, to pay off debt, to save for a vacation, to save for college next semester for a kid, whatever the reason is that you want to be able to save more, I'm going to be launching a challenge where I'm going to support you. I want to support these families. I want to give you the exact path on how to save that money. And considering that 2020 dealt us a heck of a year, you need to be able to have that financial safety net. And I want to help families create that security, that safety net, by helping them save $10,000 this year. So get on my email list to get notified about when that launches. It is going to launch before the end of the month. And I think that's it. Yeah. If you got any
All
emails,
right.
you can hit me up in the DMs. My DMs are open. Email is info@emilymacklin.com if you want to connect that way as well. So, Grace, thank you so much for having me. I appreciate you
You're
being here,
welcome. Thank you for coming.
being here. And I just thank you. I thank you so much. So,
Oh, you are absolutely welcome. And ladies, I am having the Woman Arise Go Live. It's from January 26th to the 30th at 7 p.m. All right. It's through my business page as well. You're welcome, Marcia. We're going to be just breaking down mindset things, talking about recognizing your stressors, just helping you be able to be a goal setter so you can be able to make those financial goals and be able to make whatever other goals that you want to do in your life. So go ahead and register at womanrise.co/go live. You will actually, once you register, that's when you actually get the exclusive 5-day replay. Once I start the go live, I start taking the teachings down. So the only way you're going to get the 5-day replay is if you register. You have to register before the go live. If you register during the go live, I'm sorry, you ain't getting it. Okay, so I'm telling you right now. All right, so you got to sign up beforehand and you'll get the exclusive 5-day replay. It is going to be at the end of the month. It's on the screen, or you can just look me up on Instagram, Woman Rise Academy. I'm also on there as well, and also on Facebook, Smilebiz LLC is my business page as well. So if you want more information, you can look there as well. Anyway, so oh, you're welcome. You guys, you're welcome, Doris, everybody. Tabitha said this was great. Thank you, thank you, thank you guys for tuning in. So, next month we're gonna have a whole nother topic. We're gonna start talking about healing. One of my favorite topics. I'm gonna have another guest speaker. So you guys tune in and watch out for the details for that because I'll be coming soon next month. Okay. So you guys take care. You have a great evening.